That's one of the few little things I remember about being in this site. But it was dark, but you could see like the sky and the tops of the pine trees. So we were like less than 2 kilometers. After driving most of the night.
Some people would just fall and never get back up, but he did.
I couldn't believe how many achievements he had. He had so many awards under his belt. He's been to Asia, he's been in Europe, he's been all over. I don't think I would define his legacy as a hit song or a #1 album.
Hey, God, it's a God, that guy, man.
His legacy is the drive that he has created in so many of us.
It was amazing to see how Errol recovered after the accident.
I've had to come up, I've had to get up, from a pretty mangled, beat-up mess and alone, and start again, and then claw my way back to some kind of a life.
Please welcome Mr. Errol Ranville and the Seaweed Band.
Music, from the very start, kept us out of trouble, kept us out of jail, kept us out of all the things that poverty creates. We didn't even have electricity, we didn't have running water, we didn't have a telephone. We pretty much lived in the bush.
What I remember, we grew up normal for poor people, poor family, big family, small community.
But in our family, it was the work ethic was always there because you either worked or you went without, and you went hungry. So it was just there. Yeah, and we've always worked.
My mom, of course, was a very traditional housewife. My dad, the man, like the breadwinner, and he worked very hard.
Yeah, it's always been a musical family. Like everybody played, everybody sang, everybody performed. That was just part of who we were.
The first guitar that started our musical career was ordered from the Eaton's catalog. It arrived general delivery at the little Eddystone, Manitoba post office. Started playing that guitar. We all played on that one guitar with only 5 strings. The E string on the bottom was missing. It was very difficult to get strings in those days. The nearest guitar strings were in Dauphin, 50 miles away, so I didn't worry about hunger and no shoes to wear at school. And so we played our very first public appearance. It was 1964. 50 cents a head, and we made $82. I couldn't believe it. We brought that money home, put it all on the kitchen table there in our little shack in the bush. And no one seen that much money. And I was thinking to myself, by Granny, this is how I'm gonna make my living. We obviously had a passion for playing music. We were pretty good. Our parents thought, well, we should move these guys to the city. And see what kind of opportunity they might have. It was a kind of a gamble for them. I remember them talking, when wondering about, the drinking and the crime and, all the negative side that could happen in the city. But if they stayed out there, there is no opportunity for these guys in their music. So, what do? Parents that love their children, So we moved.
Think Beverly Hillbillies, literally. They were in a station wagon, piled high with boxes and furniture on top, full of kids and
we had all of our belongings in there. Whatever belongings we took, it wasn't a hell of a lot, but
Some rockabilly licks with the drum beat too. Get me high, gonna get my kicks, gonna bend them strings and make that guitar cry. Gonna give me fakes, gonna turn it up low. I've got to try.
Indian folks, they come in from the country and, you know, they settled into the North End. And we were financially bound into the North End area.
It was an incredible time for live music, and it certainly made Winnipeg unique. But here's the thing about it. It's white. It's white guys and girls. There's no Aboriginal people in there at all. And it's something at the time I never really thought about. So it had its glory, it had its fun, it had its excitement.
Sitting around a rainbow with stars in our...
But there was an undercurrent, dare I say it, an undercurrent of racism that existed.
You know, the climate at that period was, you know, at times very dark. I mean, I've heard the term apartheid being used in Winnipeg, where you did not feel good or safe as an Indigenous person being in certain businesses. You would be asked not to be there as well.
They existed on the Main Street Strip, and that was where they could get booked, and that's where they felt comfortable, and that's where kids like me didn't go. We didn't go to those clubs because we were afraid of them.
We couldn't get gigs in the mainstream market, so we played up and down the strip here.
I remember Errol saying to me once, he said, you know, we tried to book into some of the clubs, and we were always told we don't want your kind. And by kind, what they meant was we didn't want your audience.
We want to see our own acts. We want to have our own stars. And the Seaweed Band was one of those groups that everybody wanted to see. We ultimately got a following. They built an audience that was, the word was spreading about this, about Seaweed, Errol Ranville and his band. And then when the recordings came out, that's when I think things really exploded, particularly in the late 70s and 1980 when he's up for a Juno. That's where things just went boom. They just skyrocketed, where, you know, a band from our community is getting national attention.
That look in your eyes.
This is our host band. Make them welcome. Everybody knows them, the fabulous Seaweed Band.
Got a minute to spare. Working all night, driving all day, dreaming of a holiday pay.
When you think back on the Aboriginal music scene in Winnipeg, it was thriving. You know, especially in the late 70s into the 80s, thriving on Main Street. And the Brunswick was the epicenter of it all, really happening then.
The premium place was the Brunswick because it paid the best and it had the nicest crowds, you know. Yeah. We often called it Nietzsche Hollywood because that's, if you played at the Brunswick, you were somebody in Indian country.
The Brunswick, what it was really known for too, when it had Indigenous acts, was it would be packed. There'd be people literally lined up outside the whole front to the side of the building to see a band. And that really spoke to the need and to the talent of bands from our community, like the Seaweed Band.
But the Brunswick Hotel, it was born that we played 9 hours a day, every day, 6 days a week, 2.5 years.
They put in their time on that tough circuit of Main Street So that by the early 1980s, and they're recording and releasing records, they were a damn fine band.
And I think that's where they honed a lot of their skills and knowledge base in that industry, because it was an industry that was unknown, and especially to Aboriginal people. Like, there were just no Aboriginal musicians, like, in those days.
You got good, or you're gone.
You know, who was this band that everybody wanted to go see? And well, you're going to have to wait in line like everybody else to check out this to check out their show.
We started to record 1980, the first album, Evangeline becoming #1 across the country. That was kind of the explosion at that time.
Angels and demons of desire, the henchmen with their weapons of war got me fenced in, clawing at my door.
There was no internet, there was no Facebook and all of this stuff, and you know, we were the ones to check out, you know, because of the song. They were so excited, I guess, this bar to book the Seaweed Band, you know. And then they saw us. Oh, this is different. I don't know if they were ready for that, you know. Maybe we may have looked like some guys from back in the res, somewhere backwards res, you know.
Thank you very much.
But we finally got it out. The album, Finest You Can Buy. First single, Evangeline, #1 across the country. I was in university at the U of M in the School of Social Work. So I left university with 9 credits left to go in my 5th year and got onto a tour bus and was gone. That's when we'd spent, we basically spent 7.5 years on the road.
And he walks into the Junos, and I wish I could have been there to see it, because he's walking in as an outsider, and he's on the inside, and that's really groundbreaking. That's really historic for Indigenous music, and Errol Ranville did it.
I got flown to Toronto. I played the TV show, and so they were having a wrap-up party. So I went over there. I was in the bathroom, and he come and pushed me into the stalls there. And he pours that on the back of the toilet, and I'm watching him. And I'd never seen this before. I don't know what he was doing there, but I was, you know. And then he rolls up a $20 bill and he passes it to me. And I didn't know what to do. I thought I'd never get off that shit.
You know, it was like 1980, you had the Junos, you had a succession of tours across Canada, you had national attention going on, and then things change with addiction. And what happens is the synergies change within the band, and ultimately it hurts the band.
Roman century falls.
It was 1989. March 22nd, 1989. I'll never forget that date. It's etched in my brain, you know. That was my last line. I was crawling around on my floor on Burroughs Avenue, and I was snorting up my nose was all burnt. And my brother Brian came. He came in, he looked at me on the floor. He said, well, I guess there's a lot of little brown faces across the country that are going to be pretty disappointed. Another Indian bites the dust. That's what he said. And he left. It was a turning point, one of the turning points, I guess, in my career. So I was 9 months without a gig, and I think I suffered the most in that time. Not so much with withdrawal from cocaine or the party or any of those things. It was just that not being able to play.
Yeah, a lot of people saw Errol go through a phase or a few phases of addiction, and it was hard to see because it was physically, you could see it. And I think it also made its way on stage, obviously, as well. So that was difficult to see. And the other thing you have to keep in mind is that during those times, people thought, well, that's part of the gig, right? That's part of being a music star is that's what you go through. And today we know that's wrong. But I think during that period, he should have gotten help, and it should have been offered to him a lot earlier than it was.
We're talking about a worldwide sensation here, not just local, worldwide, in Europe, in Asia.
They had nothing to do with their race or ethnicity or where they were born or where they came from or what their name was. It's on the basis of music that they did that. These guys were solid players, and it was a solid band, and they were good songwriters. And it's the strength of those songs that they recorded and released that really helped to break all of that down when people discovered, oh, geez, this is an Aboriginal band.
I can remember the night distinctly, and I hadn't been there all day, and I hadn't heard the new tracks. And I showed up at the studio after midnight, and I said, okay, well, play it for me, let me listen to it. And I listened to it, and I said, man, I can't change this. Like, I can't change this for any kind of format, for any program, music director. Sorry, this is the way it's got to go, and let's put it out there and see what happens.
Lord, I feel defeat. I feel I've just walked my last mile, so I'll rest here for a while. I'm hiding from the street.
So you really kind of look at them as the group, the artists, that kicked the door down. They kicked the door down for everyone else to come through since then. So every Aboriginal artist that's come since then into, for want of a better word, the mainstream, they owe a debt of gratitude to Seaweed for doing that, because they were the first. They were the groundbreakers. They were the pioneers for doing that.
So I defied them, I broke all their rules.
The thing I loved about Marcy, her whole life was devoted to looking after Errol, and Errol needed that because he tends to look after everybody and nobody's watching out for him.
You know, sometimes people complete each other. To me, it really felt like Marcy and Errol completed each other.
Marcy was kind of managing Errol in a sense, you know, making sure things were happening. The merch, I remember her, she really worked the merchandise really well. And yeah, she just knew how things should be and what they could be. And I think Errol needed somebody like that in his life, and she came at the perfect time.
I bought Marcy, she wanted a certain particular Jeep and a certain color, and she just got her heart set on that. And I bought it for her. And oh man, she's just in paradise. You know, no one ever did anything like that for her and her life. Something like that. We took it to Ontario, and we were running back and forth. We played in near Sudbury. From there back to Alberta. Back here, we were going to the Pas. And that was our last show before we left for Mexico. We'd driven through the night to a gig in the Pas, 600 kilometers north of Winnipeg. On Highway number 10, just outside of the town of the Pas, it happened. A car came around the curve and up the rise, and with only a single running light on. She screamed, you're going too fast, and they're in our lane. And that was it. That's all I remember. I can remember that said. I yelled to Marcy, we got to get out of here. The car's on fire. But then I looked over at her, and I don't think anybody should ever see that in their lives. The first thing I thought of was to go and try and get her out. And my brother was there, Gordon, and he helped me out. And then he was gone, of course. And then my leg gave way, and I went rolling into the ditch. A truck driver stopped to help. He saved me from drowning in the ditch. My wife and 4 teenagers passed that night.
Then later on, we got to talking, but what can you say? You know what? Everybody knew that there was, real concern, and he knew that Marcy was gone.
There's a wave of pain and loss, and it ripples. There's a ripple effect within a lot of communities. Unfortunately, like 5 lives were lost, and those lives are sadly not going to be coming back.
Yeah, 4 youngsters had died, and Errol's wife had perished, and it was traumatic for in the industry. Inside the industry, to hear of such a fatality happening to one of so close to the music community.
When I first heard about the accident, I was at work. There was a phone call that came in, and I immediately was concerned. I get to the hospital, and there's a lineup of people. The entire length of the hallway, there was a lineup of people. It was physically he was broken, and I remember thinking spiritually, I think he's broken too. He was, and I thought he's gonna get through this.
1, 2, 3, 4. In the hospital, and waking up to the reality of it, Trying to come to grips with the idea of being alone in the world again.
The injuries were just massive.
I couldn't even sit up. My sternum was crushed, my back, a disc was broken, This foot was actually crushed. It's 100 bones the doctors ever broken in my left foot. It healed like that, so it's kind of crooked. Because I never would put any weight on it because I couldn't stand up while it was healing.
And even just watching him, he wasn't looking for somebody to just come and cheer him up and take his mind off it all. He was anxious to work through it, but not forget about it.
It's a blessing, a miracle, something was going on why he survived. 5 people died, and he survived.
Just you and me.
They all said the same thing. All those people that came by, they all said the same thing to me. They said, you know, Errol, you're alive. 5 people passed that night, right beside you. You're still alive. There's a reason for that. All you need to do now is find that reason.
I lost my touch. I know it isn't much. Been stuck on the wrong end of town. So long I've lost hold of what's wrong or what's right. Alone now.
Errol is he seemed more grounded. He seemed to have more drive, even more drive. Like time meant something. The projects meant something, and but he patched up relationships. It's kind of like, okay, things are better. Things are getting better.
'Cause I'm down, but your love's been slow.
Once discharged from the hospital, almost a year later, after the accident occurred, I got a call from the RCMP on Portage Avenue, and they asked me if I could help with the accident details, and I assumed from the meeting we were cleared. They didn't warn me. A year later, I woke up one morning and I went to the front door and got the Free Press, big article, local musician charged. And so it started all over again.
The system was blaming him initially, and but so many pieces of that never came out.
A year later, after the accident happened and after I'd went through all that I had gone through, I was charged with careless driving. I was devastated. My own lawyer suggested I plead guilty to these charges, and I refused to plead guilty to something I didn't do. I didn't fall asleep at the wheel. My doctor, that was the clincher, and that's when they went to stay the charges, is when my doctor wrote them a letter. My doctor has been treating me for chronic insomnia for 15 years. He cannot fall asleep unless he takes his pills. Why would he take his pills if he's driving? So all their case went down the drain with that letter. It costed me a fortune in legal fees, and in the end, the RCMP stayed the charges. They didn't drop the charges, so it was left in limbo.
I don't know if I can do this without her, is what he kept saying. And I said, she wouldn't want you not to do it. She wouldn't want you to stop.
Where do I start here? What have I got, to work with? And then claw my way back to some kind of a life and try to be effective again, I couldn't walk, but I could think. Okay, let's do this.
Found you alone, cold as a storm, in the eye of the storm. I carried you home. Now we're running as one, birds of a feather. Life has begun.
I went to talk with my brothers and got the band back together.
Since we're together,
we're playing shows together again and recording a new album.
When Errol started getting better, he started talking about some projects. You saw the glint in his eye come back.
Life is good, Billy. Sun's shining good.
And that's really Errol Ranville, there's always that glint in his eye with a plan. You know, there's always a plan. There's always something's got to happen. And that's when I realized, when I saw that glint in his eye, I thought, okay, you know, he's back.
You guys make welcome 17-year-old Allie Fontaine. Let's hear it for Allie one time.
I was there the day Wayne Fontaine came over.
Hi.
To talk to Errol about Allie.
My name's Allie. I'm from Saugeen First Nation, and I'm glad to be here tonight. Thank you.
Like the first time when I went to see him, he was in pretty bad shape. He wanted to bring Allie into the music business, and at the same time, I think that it was helping him keep busy from all the things that were happening in his life. And Errol encouraged her, like he was her mentor, to you know, to get to the point to where she was.
I credit Allie Fontaine to this day to bringing him back from the brink.
Well, seeing him just get back up again is very inspiring.
He did tell me at one time that her song touched him, and the music really touched a lot of people, I think.
I miss you, I miss you. That was the song that she wrote for her grandmother. It's about someone that lost someone close.
I saw the desire level, I gauged, you know, it's all there. She writes, she looks good, she's got the desire, and it kept me busy. And it took my mind away from my own pain and misery and all my loss. And it started the journey, you know, back to living again. And then I started to sing. And then I started to write.
Here's one called Big John.
Got back in the game.
Should have held something back to survive on. Should have told you I was scared of heights. Got so high on this thing that we started. Now you're leaving, turned out the light.
I think Errol went to, you know, he came out of a dark place, and he knew how to step away from it and move away from it. You know, he didn't go back to addiction, anything like that. He went to he wanted to ensure that other people wouldn't go there, and I think he knew how to speak to that really well, and he wanted to share that with other people. And you know, outside of the music, that of course is a gift that was given to him in his life that many of us won't totally be able to understand or to do ourselves.
Going under, and I'm hiding.
When he saw that I was having a problem with the drink, he didn't criticize me, he didn't ostracize me, he never scolded me, he never shook his finger at me. He always was in support of my recovery. And recovery is huge in the music industry because, you know, like, you depend on this alcohol or drug for so long, and it's like saying goodbye to a friend. Errol gave me lots of support, and I'm always grateful to him for that.
Thought we had something strong to rely on. Should have kept the slow.
See, for me right now, you'd think that it was way more important when you're first getting sober. It's as important or more important for me to stay with you, travel with you, because now you're going to help other people.
I know that I wouldn't have listened to you if you hadn't had the sort of as much kind of behind you in terms of experience as you have, and it's gonna take a while for me to get there.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to work towards it. So
when we start to help others, that's when we gain our ultimate comfort zone. Over all those years, of everything that ever happened to me, I always, you know, I've always depended on the community. Now it's my turn. You know, it's my turn to give it back to the community.
Well, it's interesting because when you think of reconciliation, I mean, you know, there's a lot of hard truths when it comes to reconciliation. It's a very complicated word, and everybody has their own ultimate definition of it. But a lot of it is looking at the truth, you know, and that's an uncomfortable place to be. Is when people have to face, you know, their internal reality. And Errol has seen that as a musician from the early parts of his career. He's dealt with racism on several levels, and I think that he understands that, and he also sees what's been happening in the community over the years, because he's with the people, he's performing with the people, he's meeting the people, he knows the stories.
The whole truth and reconciliation process is really, really important to Errol.
To be at a point in his life where he wants to see things get better, that's really understandable. And he has a platform as an artist to do that. So I think that should be you know, commended, that he definitely wants to make a difference.
He says, no, the truth is the easy part. Okay, yeah, it's tough. Yeah, we've all had tragedy, and we've all had terrible things happen to us, and we've had people betray us, and oh yeah, we can tell those stories, and we can get that truth out on the table. But now, come on, let's roll up our sleeves, and let's get some of the hard work going here, because the value in the exercise is in the reconciliation.
And then having this vision, and you know, basically really just starting to think about somebody else and not, you know, feel sorry for myself or woe is me, or, you know, I'm messed up now, I can't do anything. And that's not true. I started thinking about the nation, about our people, and what's required, what's necessary, and the things that need to happen.
You know, the 1990s were volatile. They had the Oka crisis and a police confrontation, and yet he, as an artist, he was able to decipher all that stuff and give people something to be proud about. And that Run as One song was so significant to me. Every time I hear it, I get out on the floor and I'm up there through a song that makes us all proud that we're Native Métis.
Part of his vision is to see a building made at the Forks, like a cultural center. And I think that came to him in his dream, and he was above it. You know, he saw where the powwow dancers would be. He saw where the cultural center will be. That vision he had is important for this city and important for reconciliation to take place.
In the hospital, I had this vision. I saw these huge war canoes where you can fit a dozen or 18 people. Aboriginal people were paddling the canoes dressed in full regalia. It was beautiful.
To have that gathering place, particularly at the Forks, where symbolically, I mean, it only makes sense because, you know, our people have been gathering there for thousands upon thousands of years. I mean, they've excavated the area, and they found that, you know, it has a history that goes back at least 5,000–6,000 years.
I'm now spearheading a project to develop a global tourist destination at the Forks in downtown Winnipeg. It's called Papagana Day, or Beating Heart. My vision is for a 3,500-seat powwow arbor for music and summer powwow gatherings, surrounded by a teepee village and Indigenous marketplace. We set this up as a global window for the culture of this country, of the first people of this country. All of a sudden, where we've reconciled to a point that we're all of a sudden we're partners.
I think it goes very much to his strength of character. I mean, he had to surmount so much adversity within his life, even to get to being able to play his music for non-Aboriginal audiences and to put out records and be successful. I mean, if I had been following that path, I would have had an easier path than he did, because I'm not Aboriginal. So you can see that he has very much a strength of character and a perseverance and a focus and a dedication.
I think what Errol's done for a lot of musicians is just say, first of all, just to show it can be done. You know, we can build up a star system within our community. That can happen. Also, that our voices the voices within our community are valuable ones and should be respected, should be honored, and should be recognized for uniquenesses that they possess, because it's you know, there's no other community that sounds like our own community, and I think that's pretty powerful.
You think you never will get through the empty hours of the night with sunlight in your eyes and more time to kill.
Whatever you do now, it's going to become the ending of the story. So think carefully and govern yourself carefully, because you're on camera, you're on stage. This is the story of the Seaweed Band.
It ain't mine, it's not your fault.
It's kind of funny that I'm receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm not done.
We're talking about we don't have that many miles left in us, so maybe we should finish writing the story with the recording, and we'll see what happens.
So there's still dreams, and there's still a drive, and there's still that desire. But it's the same thing. I'll keep going back to the same thing, you know, it's the music.
Yeah.